of good morning, fellow students. We are once more welcome. In the last class, we were working with quadrilaterals and we started with triangles. We went to rectangles, and today we have to look at the activity I gave you on rectangles. After that, we will go to our lesson proper. So let's look at the activity I gave you on rectangles. Though I didn't see your corrections, some of you didn't even bother to send me your corrections or what you have done for me to actually verify and correct them. And I'm looking forward for you to send all the corrections for me to conclude and tell you whether you're on the right track or not. Please always make sure you do your assignments. It's very important, because from the assignments I will know your weak points and how to correct you, and then we'll move ahead. So let's begin with the corrections of the assignment that we did. In the first question, we're asked to calculate the area of a rectangle. We're given the length of the rectangle as 10 centimeters and the width as 5 centimeters. And now we are aware of the fact that area is length times width. So we just multiply the length by the width and we have our result. The result must be in square unit. If you look at my answer, I have 10 times 5, which is 50 centimeters square. That's the result. Then the next question now requires us to calculate the perimeter. We know the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. We say the perimeter is always the length plus the width, all that times 2. So we'll introduce the length. The length is 10 and the width is 5. We will add the length and the width and multiply by 2. Recall, in both maths we work with what is inside the brackets before we go out of the brackets. So at this point we've added 10 to 5 and the result is 15. So 15 times 2 will give 30. That is a correction for number 1. And we shall now move to number 2. Number 2, you are given the area and the width and you're asked to calculate the length. Recall I said for us to actually come up with the length, we know that area is length times width. So we shall divide both sides by the width to get the length. And that's what I've done. After dividing, it's called that the length is always given by the area divided by the width. Right? So in this case, our area is given to us as 75 square centimeters and our width is 5 square centimeters. So when we divide, you discover that the length is 15 square centimeters. That is that for the second question. Now we are moving to the third. Now in the third exercise, we are given the perimeter and we are required to calculate the width. We are given the perimeter and the length and we are expected to calculate the width. Now we know that the perimeter is length plus width, all that times 2. So the first thing we need to do here is to divide both sides by 2. When I divide both sides by 2, the 2 on the right hand side will cancel, and then I have perimeter over 2 is equal to length plus width. Now that I'm looking for the width, I shall send the length to the other side and it becomes minus. So we are saying that the width is perimeter over 2 minus the length. That is the formula. So now we now say the width is, I know the perimeter, and my perimeter is 40 over 2 minus the length, which is 10 centimeters. So 40 over 2 gives 20. 20 take away 10, the result is 10 centimeters. So the width is 10 centimeters. I think that is that for the correction. If you have any other question, please do not hesitate to send your result to me on WhatsApp. Your questions you can send to me on WhatsApp or any other form. I am always available and ready to solve your problems. Okay, let us go to the lesson proper for the day. Now, the lesson for the day is squares. Recall in the last class we were talking about rectangles. Now I want to look at squares. What is a square? A square is simply a quadrilateral that has equal sides. It's 4 sides, but all the sides are the same. So any quadrilateral that has 4 sides and is equal in dimension is called a square. When I say equal in dimension, it means the length is the same as the width. Okay, so at this point I have an example of a square on the board. If you see, this is my small square and the length is 1 centimeter, the width is 1 centimeter. So you see all the sides are 1 centimeter each. But we should be very careful. A square is an example of a rectangle, so you should not get confused. A square is also a rectangle. It's a rectangle that has equal sides. We should be very careful with that. So like I said, a square is a rectangle that has the same length and width. Alright, let us look at the properties of a square now. As we've rightly said that a square is a quadrilateral with equal sides. If you look at it, the first property is that all the sides are equal in length. It means whether you go horizontally or vertically, you must have the same dimension. The next property will be the angles. The angles, if you look at it, I have my angles. The angles are all the same. Since the sides are the same, the angles must be the same. And if you look at it, you can see that the angles are right angles. They are 90 degrees now from what we saw in angles geometry. So here we have 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So they are all at right angles. We know the symbol for 90 degrees or right angles. We know the symbols. We have treated that. Now we are going to look at the diagonals. These lines are called the diagonal. The diagonal is a line that divides a square into two halves. Divide a square into two halves. We call them diagonals. So the diagonals are the same. They have the same diagonals. Okay. That notwithstanding, we shall now move to the area of a square. Now, the area of a square is always given by the side times side. Since the square all have sides, we'll not talk about length and width again on square. We'll talk about the sides. Since the sides are the same, they are of equal length, so we'll call them the side. So say the area is given by the side times side. So now we have a small activity, and we are going to demonstrate that together. Okay, activity. Now I want everybody to watch keenly while I solve. Yeah, we are told that a square has side 5 centimeters. Calculate its area. That is the question. That is a square has side 5 centimeters. Calculate its area. So now we will state solution and we start solving. We take the first one. A square has side 5 centimeters. We know the area is side times side. And if the side is 5 centimeters, then the area will be 5 times 5, which is 25 centimeters square. That is all for the first exercise. And we'll go to the second activity. We are told that given that the area of a square is 64 centimeter area, this is 64 centimeters square, find the sides of the square. Now we know that area is side times side. Now we are given the area, we are not given the side. So what do? We state the area, which is 64, is equal to the side times the side. Okay, side times side is side square. So have 64 is equal to s square. That's s to the power 2. Now we saw this in index form when we were doing index forms in first term. Okay, now since I know that s square is 64, s is the side. Recall, I need to get the side, and I know that side square is 64. So how do I get my final result now? All I need to do is to take the square root of both sides so that this small square on top here disappears. When I take the square root, you discover that this s will disappear when I take the square root. The 2, sorry. When I take the square root, the 2 will disappear. I'm left with s. And then when I take the square root of 64, my result is 8. Okay? So you discover that the side is 8 centimeters. And to verify whether your answer is true, you can multiply the side by the side. Because area is side times side, so you can multiply 8 by 8 and you have 64. So that is the result for that exercise. So now you have a small assignment. The assignment is for you to draw a quadrilateral of side AB 3 centimeters, DC 3 centimeters, BD 3 centimeters, and AC 3 centimeters. I'm just giving the side, this AB, DC, and so on, are the labels for the side, like what I have here. Normally, if you look at this other first triangle, I can still write this as A, B, C, and D. You see the sides, these are the sides. So the sides are given to you. So you are going to draw your quadrilateral. After drawing the quadrilateral, they say you should state the name of that quadrilateral. When you state the name, the next question now requires you to calculate the area of the quadrilateral. Once that is done, that marks the end of our lesson. Thank you. I wish you all the best. Make sure you do your assignments. I'm waiting for your results. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. Take care. Have a nice day. Thank you.